Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Got Legs. Keeping up with our short little review series here, I'm going to take a closer look at the Enve wheels. Enve. So these wheels have been on my bike ever since April, and we're now in the middle of July. They have been very great wheels. They have replaced my Reynolds Aero 58s, which I crashed on last year. And for a more thorough look at these wheels, I've made another video. You can find that in the video library, where I'll just talk a bit about these wheels. But just to sum it up real quick, these are Enve 45 SES Clinchers with the new brake track. They have the Enve carbon hubs with internals from DT Swiss. So that's about it. Let's talk about how these perform. As you can see just above me, I also have a set of Enve 6.7s. These are the 6 front wheel and the 7 is in a bag. But these are actually claimed to be as fast as the 6.7s despite their shorter depth. So these are, I believe, 48 in the front and 56 in the back. The front wheel is a bit wider than the rear wheel, and that has to do with some sort of crazy aerodynamics. The front wheel is fitted right now with the S-Works turbo tire, 24 in the front and 26 in the back. Probably should have 26 on both ends, but I prefer to have a bit narrower tire in the front. The wheel has been performing very good. It's hard to tell that these are more aerodynamic than the 6.7s, but they don't feel slower than them. So I guess that's a good starting point. They're quite stiff, and they handle very well in the crosswinds. I'm a bit heavier rider. I'm about 80 kilos, a bit more actually. So I'm not really bothered by crosswinds and heavy gusts of that with riding with deeper section wheels. But if you're a lighter rider, you might experience that it'll be a more twitchy ride probably. Installation of tires can be a bit of a pain on the front wheel. I don't really know why, because it should be wider than the rear wheel, but the rear wheel is actually easier to get on a set of tires. They're easy to get up to speed, and they hold the speed quite well. And also during heavy acceleration, you don't really feel them wobble or anything. You don't feel that they're not stiff. So they're quite stiff, and you shouldn't have to worry about brake pad rubbing. So let's start with some of the more negative things about these wheels. First and foremost, it has like a crazy valve rattle. So you need to put on some tape to make sure that the valve doesn't rattle. I've never had that bad valve rattle with the Reynolds wheels or previously Mavic or SIPs, but these are just crazy. But a piece of electrical tape and that should do. Also, the various depth of the front and rear wheel means that you can't really use a 60mm valve, because that'll be suitable for the front, but it'll be too short for the back. So you have to use a 80mm valve, which is okay, but putting in an 80mm valve in a 46mm wheel, 48mm wheel, may just basically looks really stupid. You can see the valve here is an 80mm and it sticks quite a bit out. But the other way around is to carry two tubes with various valves in them, and then you have to check. So I'm just carrying 80mm valves, and that's about it. But it looks a bit silly on the front wheel at least. The new brake track means that it will have better braking, and you can really feel the difference between this and the older styled Enve wheels. It brakes much better, definitely, and it also brakes better in the wet. The only thing about it is that it has like a turbine cooling down when you brake, so it's quite noisy when you brake. It's not a squealing or anything, it's just like yeah, basically a turbine from a plane or something cooling off. So if you can live with that, no problem, but if you're hating sounds on your bike, you'll be driven crazy by this. On the rear wheel, the free hub body doesn't make that much sound. So if you're not into like a high hiss from Chris King or anything like that, these wheels are perfect for you. But if you prefer to have everyone know when you're coasting, you don't want these wheels. You want them with the Chris King hubs instead, because these are pretty quiet. And the last negative thing about these wheels is that the brake pads leave some kind of residue on the rims. So it has like a light area, or maybe it's not even the brake pads, it might be the place where the brake pads aren't engaging that are left with dirt in them. Anyways, you get like a light stripe. I think you can see it right here. Again, doesn't really bother me because when you're out riding, you really don't notice it. So let's talk about some of the good things about this wheel set. These are incredibly light. I think they're just about 1500 grams if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty light for a set of deeper section clinchers. I know these are not 60 millimeters, but it's still pretty light. The skewers are really nice. They have a great lever, so that means that you won't be needing that much force to open up the quick release. They brake really well in the wet. You just have to get used to the sound, but then they brake very good in the wet. Good job, Enve. The hubs and basically the wheels come with ceramic speed bearings. And normally I don't do a lot of ceramics bearings because I don't really think that I can tell the difference. But these wheels roll very good. I've never experienced wheels that roll as good as these. So if that's up to the ceramic speed bearings, I don't really know, but I guess they help quite a bit. So it's very nice to have ceramic speed in your bearings. And then you also get, when you buy the wheels, you get like a small syringe with the ceramic speed grease, so you can re-grease them every time you need them. So it's very nice for a wheel set. Another thing about these wheels is that they're claimed to be as aerodynamic as the 6.7s right here, but at a shallower depth. That means that you can use them in any kinds of terrain. So I really do think that these are the best all-round clinchers that you can probably get, because they're aerodynamic enough to compete with higher profile wheels, but they're light enough that you actually can use them in rolling terrains and probably even do mountain stages with these wheels on. At 1500 grams, they're not that much heavier than a set of Fulcrum Racing Zeros, but you get a lot more aerodynamics from these wheels, so that'll help you without a doubt. Also, I believe that the rims are quite light, so that the rotational mass is quite low on these wheels, with most of the weight going into the bearings and probably the spokes and stuff like that. So that is my short little review of this wheel set. I really do enjoy them. I'm quite happy that I bought them, even though they were quite expensive. You can probably buy wheels out there for half the price that are about as good as these. And I just wanted to get something a bit different, and I had the money from an insurance case, so I wasn't too bothered with the price anyways. But these are truly a great wheel set. I really do enjoy them, and they are my go-to wheel set at the moment. I really do enjoy them. Thanks once again for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, watch the other videos, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. For now, thanks for watching. Bye.